Well, hello and welcome back again to the Tao Manifesting Tarot, the audio edition. This is the tarot reading for manifestors, for people who are also multitaskers. Why? Well, because the only picture you're going to see on your screen is what you got on there right now. And that is the tarot spread for manifesting today's energies. Okay, that's it. And it's done intentionally that way. A number of studies over a number of years, real science, says that as we watch video, moving pictures, one way or another, we slowly give up our imagination and pay more attention to the images on the screen than the images between our ears. What that does is dull us down a little bit, certainly dulls our imagination. And when you're playing with your imagination, you have a tougher time manifesting. And manifestation is a very, very, very personal thing. And it all depends upon your ability to imagine. And everything that we do in this society, around the whole planet, is aimed at dulling our imagination. So we're not thinking, we're not as creative. This reverses the project. You look at the picture, you listen to my narrative about all the cards, and you put the pieces together. You assemble the pieces for your own personal manifesting ability by improving your imagination. So we start at the bottom, we work our way to the top. The two center cards on the bottom and at the top are critical. We begin, the bottom row, center, Oracle card, flexible. Flexibility is a very interesting thing and a very tricky thing. I think in a lot of ways it is misinterpreted. You know, you may have heard the expression, you got to go along to get along, or get along to go along. I think that's what it is, get along to go along. What that says is that you're kind of wishy-washy. You know, well, whatever the group wants, whatever they want, that's okay. Whatever I think or feel or whatever, it doesn't matter. I got to get along. No, you don't. And in fact, I'm not saying being a jerk about it, but the more independent you are, the more individualistic you are, the stronger your ability to manifest. And yeah, you're gonna cheese some people off. They're gonna be angry at you. Gotcha. You're not gonna fit in certain groups. Doesn't make any difference. When you are manifesting, you are not interested in pleasing or appealing to other people. You are interested in finding your spiritual center and then developing it. And so being flexible, it doesn't mean you go along to get along. It means that you have a certain resiliency in your spirit that allows you to bend but never, ever break. That's a very difficult thing to achieve. What it takes is our first card on the left, and that's the Hanged Man energy. The Hanged Man is a man who is letting go. But he's letting go to get a new perspective. Now, that makes him a little bit vulnerable, but it allows him to keep his vision on the gold, to keep manifesting the goal. And even though there are distractions, even though there may be, paths that he has to take that he hadn't prepared himself for or allowed for, he still focuses on what his ultimate goal is. And what that does is give him flexibility. Now, the next card over is the Page of Swords. The Page are always bringing a different storyline. They change things up. And the Page of Swords says you begin to think a different way. You revitalize. You embrace new challenges. There's a new honesty and integrity. So when you do the Hangman energy and you flip the picture so that you get a different angle. You're still focused on your ultimate goal. You're still flexible. You're still wanting to manifest what you want, not what society wants or what anybody else wants. What you want. You got to take that different view from the Hangman, and then you have to come away with some new information. And that's the Page of Swords. And you need honesty and you need integrity within you. You're standing for something. Next card over is Temperance card. And the Temperance card says this, you can do this. It's just not going to come quickly. But temperance Talks about balance, moderation, patience. And in all of that, there is healing. And you notice when you look at the card, the Temperance card, the individual is standing in water, which is emotion, but also has one foot on the rocks. There's a nice balance. And there's an exchange of emotion because there is water flowing from one cup to the other. It's really a beautiful, brilliant picture. And it does ultimately call for balance. And if you're going to be flexible, like this picture here, the bottom row center card, you better have good balance. And the way that you do that is give yourself an opportunity to see something from a different angle and then make the right conclusion. Decide that you want to have honesty and integrity lead you towards your manifestation. And what's the ultimate goal? It's healing. That is what the star is all about. The star is hope. It's guidance. It's inspiration. It's even harmony. All of those combined together create a very positive, peaceful mode, and says that you are very flexible, but in your flexibility you have a strength. Because remember, you take a look at that picture at the bottom in the center there, this gal is really contorted a little bit, and you have to have outstanding balance and strength to be able to do that. Otherwise, you can't do that. You're going to fall over, break something. So it's deceiving. While it says flexible, the underlying message is extreme strength, inner strength, and that calls on integrity. That calls on honesty, and that calls on all the energies that we've seen in the bottom row, the hangman, the changing your perspective, the swords, hanging on to that truth. You're looking at the judgment. You're doing the idea there of, or temperance. You're balancing. And then the star says you're ultimately doing it for healing. Let's go to the top row, King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles, a lot of people go, oh, money. This is the money guy. Yeah, on one side, he's a business leader. And for normal tarot readings, I would say that would be certainly fine. But when you're doing manifesting, no. This is a person who assumes responsibility. This is a person who, remember, pentacles are things that you value. He values himself. And again, that's not in, don't think narcissism with having a good sense of self-worth. Narcissists often, in fact always, have a very poor self-worth. That's why they have to be narcissists and take it out on everybody else around them, because they don't have it inside them. King of Pentacles is not that kind of person. Very centered, very focused, very patient, because he knows his worth. He knows what's important to them. And people may be surprised. It's not what they think. He has a true sense of self-worth. And right next to him, we got the star card again. So from two different decks, we get the same card, the star card. This is a reading of healing, of bending, but not breaking. And that being the case, that's really what we're working at right now, okay? We are working at hope, guidance, generosity, inspiration, healing. And you have this card show up twice. That means this is your vehicle to being flexible, to getting to your manifestation. It's that star energy. We'll skip the center card. We'll wrap it up, the reading with that. We'll move one over to Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords says that right now you're a little perplexed. Right now you feel restricted. You feel trapped. You feel powerless. And because of that, you're not flexible. You have no sense of direction. You're just sort of, what you believe is not true, but you don't know what to replace it with. It's a lot of mental anguish, because the swords are thoughts, ideas, everything that you've been told, most everything. And I mean most everything you've been told is untrue. Now, the people who told it to you didn't know necessarily that it was a lie, but it's turned out that way. And so that being the case, you are now discovering that much of what you've been told, much of what you said or you thought society expected from you, really doesn't work in your interest at all. It works against you. And what to do with that, that's what's causing the anxiety. So, How do you work that one out? Next card over, Judgment. What you do is you take information from the past, bring it into the present, and then move forward into the future. Think, imagine, be flexible. Very often people, use the expression, oh, the good old days. If you were to actually go back to the good old days, you find out, yes, there are some very nice things there. There's no question about it. But it's not perfect. The old days were not perfect, and in some cases, not even good. But when we remember back, we kind of edit out the bad stuff for the most part, and it becomes the good old days. So what you need to do to get this flexibility, this spiritual, emotional flexibility, is you need to be able to get a different perspective, to have different thinking, to decide that you're going to take your time, work through this, and heal yourself. And you do that by really accepting your self-worth, by having a desire to heal, by putting down the untrue ideas that you've lived your life with, by going back into the past, finding a good time or bad time, that's your choice. But then bringing it into the present, reviewing it with what you know now and understand now, and then take it into the future. And that's really the key. And the center card up top really kind of says it all. It is the Nine of Wands. It's determination. It's stamina. It's courage. It's no matter what happens, you're going to go through. You're going to reach your manifesting. However, to do that, you need flexibility. And to be really, truly, emotionally and spiritually flexible, without being a phony, you have to understand your self-worth. It takes a strong inner base, and that is the energy that you need to be able to manifest what you want. Hope that was helpful for you. That's today's reading. I have another reading for you tomorrow. I do one every day, 365. I would love you and I to get together every day, take a look at the manifesting energies. You pick and pull and choose what works for you, and then step into a better future. But between now and the next time you and I have a chance to manifest tarot energy together, as always, peace and blessings.